long before the Great Pyramids scratched the sky, long before pharaohs wore the double crown, long before the world ever spoke the name Egypt. 7,000 years ago, as the desert winds howled across North Africa, a long river carved a green ribbon through the sand. Each year, the Nile rose and fell with perfect rhythm. With every flood, it left behind Kem, the rich, black soil that gave the land its name. From small farming settlements along the riverbanks, people learned patterns. The stars moved in cycles. The river rose in seasons. Life followed a sacred order. And so Kemet was born, a land shaped by nature and guided by observation. In the early mornings, before the sun god reclimbed into his golden boat, the priests of Kemet stood on tall mud brick temples watching the heavens. They tracked the rising of Sopdet, the star Sirius, which announced the annual flooding. This was the beginning of astronomy, not in books, but in the rhythm of survival. With time, they charted constellations, calculated calendars, and measured the Earth with astonishing precision. These were not just farmers, they were the world's first scientists. As the villagers grew, memory alone was not enough. They created something new, something powerful. MDWNR, the divine words. Hieroglyphs, symbols carved into stone. Stories preserved for eternity. Every temple wall became a book. Every tomb a library. Every carving a message to the future. Through writing, Kemet recorded its medicine, its laws, its history, and its dreams. When most of the world lived in simple huts, the people of Kemet imagined structures that touched the sky. They understood mathematics not as numbers on paper, but as tools to move mountains. Geometry guided their hands. Engineering sharpened their minds. And the will of their civilization made the impossible possible. With chisels of copper and hearts of determination, they built the Step Pyramid of Djoser, the world's first large stone monument, the Great Pyramid of Khufu, a structure so precise that even today scientists marvel at its perfection. Temples aligned with solstices, revealing an understanding of astronomy thousands of years ahead of its time. Kemet was not just building structures, it was building eternity. Inside temples, not open to the common eye, scribes copied medical texts, remedies for infections, treatments for broken bones, instructions for surgery and anatomy. Physicians of Kemet knew the pulse, understood diseases, and practiced healing long before other civilizations discovered these arts. They were masters of the human body, guided by observation and divine understanding. To Kemet, the world was alive with spirit. Ra sailed across the sky each day. Osiris ruled the afterlife. Isis healed, protected, and resurrected. Ma'at held the feather of truth, balancing the universe. Religion was not fear, it was harmony, the belief that humans must live in balance with nature, truth, and community. Temples were not just places of worship. They were universities, hospitals, observatories, libraries. Kemet's spirituality powered its science. As centuries passed, Kemet became a beacon of knowledge. Travelers from the Mediterranean, the Middle East, and Africa journeyed to study in its temples. Greek philosophers like Pythagoras and Plato learned in Egyptian schools. African kingdoms adopted its writing, architecture, and spiritual traditions. Medicine, mathematics, and astronomy from Kemet laid foundations for future civilizations. The world drank from the Nile, not just water, but wisdom. Empires rose and fell. Invaders came and went. Kings changed. Borders shifted. But Kemet's legacy refused to disappear. Its pyramids remained standing against time. Its hieroglyphs waited silently to be read again. Its stories whispered through the desert winds. And when the Rosetta Stone unlocked the ancient language, the world rediscovered what had been hidden for millennia. Kemet was not just a civilization. It was a foundation, a beginning, a teacher of humanity. Today, the Nile still flows, just as it did thousands of years ago, the same river that fed the first scientists, priests, farmers, and dreamers. And in every drop of its water lies a memory, a reminder of a people who refused to merely survive, a people who rose, dreamed, built, wrote, healed, and explored, a people who created one of the greatest civilizations the world has ever known. This is Kemet, ancient Egypt, the Black Land, the cradle of culture, science, and eternity. If you love African history, ancient civilization documentaries, and forgotten world stories, this is for you.